For years, if you wanted to get into high-end gaming in India, you knew the deal. You needed some seriously expensive hardware. But what if all that power, the power of a top-tier gaming PC, wasn't something you had to buy, but something you could just stream? Well, guess what? The wait is over. The cloud gaming revolution is officially here in India, and it's called GeForce Now.
Okay, just think about this for a second. Look at your laptop right now. Maybe it's a few years old, totally fine for work, but let's be honest, it's not exactly a gaming monster. Now, what if I told you that very same machine could suddenly play the latest, most demanding games at an absolutely blistering 240 frames per second? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's not, because in the first quarter of 2026, NVIDIA is flipping the switch and making that exact scenario a reality for millions of people all across India.
Yeah, this is a pretty big deal. It really marks a whole new era for gaming in the country. So let's break down what this launch actually means for you.
Okay, so let's get into the highlights, because this is the good stuff. First, and this is probably the most important part, local servers, right in Mumbai. That is an absolute game changer for cutting down lag. Next, the hardware is top of the line from day one. We're talking RTX 5080 class SuperPods that could push up to 4K at 240 FPS. And to top it all off, NVIDIA is running the servers themselves, no partners, no middlemen, just a pure optimized experience. So you're probably thinking, okay, I'm interested. How do I get my hands on this virtual supercomputer? Let's walk through the nuts and bolts of how you'll get started. All right, the service is going to launch with 3 different tiers. There's a free tier, perfect for just trying it out. You get solid 1080p gaming for 1-hour sessions. Then you've got the performance tier, which is a big step up. Longer sessions, better hardware for 1440p gaming. And then there's the ultimate tier. This is the whole shebang. You unlock the full power of those RTX 5080s for insane resolutions and frame rates with sessions that can last up to 8 hours straight.
Now, here's a super important point. This is not Netflix for games. You aren't subscribing to a library of games. Instead, it's a bring-your-own-games model. You play the games you already own on places like Steam or Epic. You just link your accounts, and boom. GeForce Now gives you the horsepower in the cloud to play them on pretty much any device you have. Your old laptop, your phone, even your TV.
Of course, all this magic happens over your internet connection. So what do you need? Well, for a smooth 1080p experience, you're going to want at least a stable 25 megabits per second. But if you're going for that glorious 4K stream on the ultimate tier, you'll really want a solid fiber connection with 50 megs per second or more. So we've talked about the what. Now let's get into the how. And to really get what a technical miracle this is, we have to talk about the main villain of the story, lag. The physics of lag, or latency, is the single biggest challenge for any cloud gaming service, period.
So what exactly is latency? You know, in the simplest terms, it's just the delay. The time between you doing something, like clicking your mouse to fire, and seeing it actually happen on the screen. In gaming, even a tiny delay feels off. It's the absolute enemy of a good experience.
To make a game feel like it's running right there in your room, NVIDIA's target for that entire round trip, from your click to the server and all the way back to your screen, is under 40 milliseconds. To give you some perspective, that's literally faster than you can blink. And this right here really shows you the insane scale of the problem. When you're playing on your own PC, your command travels, what, a few inches? But with cloud gaming, that same command might have to travel 1,400 kilometers from Delhi to Mumbai, and then the video has to come all the way back. All of that in less time than a blink. Wild. So how on earth do they pull that off? This is where we get into the real science of the stream. It's a combination of raw power, some really clever physics, and a whole lot of AI that basically lets them bend the rules of distance and time.
So here it is, the secret sauce. It's really a 4-part recipe. You've got ridiculously powerful servers, super smart AI upscaling, incredibly efficient video compression, and perfect network sync. Let's dig into each one.
First up, let's talk about AI. See, the problem with 4K gaming is just the sheer number of pixels. A server has to draw over 8 million of them for every single frame, up to 240 times a second. That takes time, and in this world, time equals lag.
So here's the brilliant AI solution. It's called DLSS. Instead of brute forcing all 8 million pixels, the server just renders the game at a lower resolution, like 1080p, which is only 2 million pixels. Then, a specially trained neural network instantly predicts what the other 6 million pixels should look like to create a flawless 4K image. It's just so much faster and smarter. Okay, next up is compression. This chart says it all.
If you tried to send a raw 4K video stream, you'd need a mind-boggling 12 gigabits per second. Impossible. Now, older codecs got that down to around 50 megabits, but the new AV1 codec, which the Mumbai servers are using, gets that same quality down to just 35. That efficiency is absolutely crucial for the kind of internet we have here in India.
But it's not just about speed, right? It's about stability. The system has some really smart tricks for handling India's last-mile internet issues. If you have jitter, which is just an unstable connection, it uses adaptive streaming to adjust the quality on the fly so your game doesn't stutter. And if you get packet loss, where bits of data just disappear, it can actually reconstruct that missing info on your end instantly.
And the last piece of this latency-busting puzzle is NVIDIA Reflex. The best way to think about it is like a conductor for an orchestra. It makes sure your game, the server, and the network are all working in perfect sync, with no wasted time. This one trick alone shaves off another 10 to 15 milliseconds of lag. It's a huge deal.
So when you put all of these incredible pieces of technology together, what you get is way more than just a new service. It's a fundamental shift for the entire future of gaming in India.
This table right here just sums up the whole system perfectly. You have the Mumbai data center. Its job is to cut down the physical distance. The Blackwell GPUs provide the horsepower for that AI magic. The AV1 codec makes sure the stream is efficient and high quality. And NVIDIA Reflex ties it all together, synchronizing everything. Every single component has a critical scientific role in this war against latency.
One of the sources we looked at put it perfectly, I think. It said the service effectively turns the internet into a high-speed bus for a computer located hundreds of miles away. That's exactly what this is.
So yeah, the launch of GeForce Now in India isn't just about playing the latest games. It really is a triumph of applied physics and computer science, solving these mind-bendingly complex problems in real time just so you can have a seamless experience.
And all of this leaves us with one last really fascinating question to chew on. If the supercomputer you use for your entertainment, for your work, no longer needs to physically be in the same room as you, what does the future of gaming, and maybe even all of computing, actually look like?